most dangerous podcast. Bebo in the building was good. It was going bar for bar. They Kent was going down, man. Let's get it. Good. Hundo up in the studio. Hundo. We ain't out.
F to the R to the S to the H to the O to the U to the T. That fresh out.
What's up?
It's time to wake up the neighbors.
Wake them up. Wake them up.
Yeah, man, it's going heavy tonight, man. Hey, hold up. It's not even the night tonight. It's the afternoon, man. We here early, man, heavy, man. Good Sunday. Afternoon. You know how it goes down, 4 p.m. Eastern. Have my time off today.
And for those who's international, good morning, good afternoon, good
morning,
evening.
Too.
Yeah. Salute to y'all.
We got Bebo P in the building. Jay Kent, man. He's with the Mom Dukes. Happy birthday for the Mom Dukes, man.
Salute to Jay
Bebo
Kent
P, what's
and his
going
moms.
on today?
Hey, man, feeling good, feeling great, and feeling blessed on this Sunday. How about yourself, Iceberg?
Hey, man, we got a dope show for you guys today, man. We're going to be talking heavy. This is the State of the Union for hip-hop. You know how it goes down, man.
That's right.
Every
Hit that
year,
like and
you know
subscribe.
how it goes down. Man, your favorite president, man, Biden, may be having a State of the Union. So we got to have one, too. But we can't just have a conversation, man, by ourselves, man. We got to have somebody heavy to come in the game, man. We had to get our guy, Media Man.
Salute to the
man.
Media Man.
Salute
Salute to you,
all,
brother.
If y'all don't know who he is, man, like I just got to get my little one off real quick, man. Media
Let's
Man
go.
is like the dopest dude on YouTube. Talks about so much empowerment for men and women, man, especially in our culture, man. Media Man, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing well. And again, like I said, man, I appreciate the invite. It was a no-brainer to come on, man. I'm a huge fan. Love what y'all brothers doing. I'm going to have to get some insight on who did your intro. That was amazing, man. I was sitting there like, oh, my goodness. Like, I got to get on there.
We got you.
So, yeah, but I definitely appreciate it. Thank y'all, brothers, for having me on.
Hey, thanks for being on.
Everybody coming in. Mama Bear's in here, man.
Mama Bear.
Mama! She's in here early, man, from Toronto.
Mama
What's
Bear.
going on, man? Offset
Salute
Rumors
to
is
Mama
soon.
Bear.
Yeah, he's
Salute
soon,
to Toronto.
man. Hey, but we got a good show, man. We're going to be talking about a lot of dope things. Bebo P's in here, man. Media Man's in here all the way from
Iceberg
Houston,
in the
Texas,
building.
man. But this is the thing,
Media
man.
What's good? What's good?
Media Man, everybody's got an origin story. How did you even get into the space? How did you start this platform that you have? Again, you guys go over to his platform, Media Man. Come right back, man. We're gonna be putting his cash up in here too.
I appreciate it.
Come on
man.
now. Put that money in. But what's your origin story on how you got in the game?
So basically, man, I was kind of ignorant to these spaces because I wasn't really focused on it while I was in the military. Okay. But when it was time for me to retire, about maybe 2 years out, I started getting more questions about relationships from like some of my female colleagues. Okay. And then they start sending me links of people that they watch. And I was like, oh, let me see what's going on. So when I started to put my ear to the street, so to speak, I was like, wow, I did not know that the Black community was having these issues with the relationship. So I started a Facebook page called The Question of the Day. And I was just asking questions from my own essay to see what was going on. And people started gravitating towards and they started answering questions, both men and women. So I started listening to different podcasts, different platforms. And I was like, oh, this is really an issue. But one thing that I noticed that was missing was the statistics. You know, like they would have these conversations without having the actual knowledge to, you know, I guess substantiate their points. So that's where I kind of saw a lane. I was like, well, maybe I can add a little bit of value to these spaces. And that's when I decided to branch out to YouTube and put my message out there. And hopefully that, you know, people would acknowledge it and rock with the content. And luckily, you know, I've been, you know, somewhat successful after a year or so doing this. And yeah, I'm going to continue, you know, on this, doing this good work, you know.
That's awesome, man. And a statistical master you are.
That's
man,
my
you
educational background. So,
okay.
I mean, yeah,
okay.
just.
There you go. You mentioned the military. How long were you in the military for? And,
I was in the military for 20 years, retired
20
Air Force.
Years. Oh, man.
20
salute.
years. Yeah, I appreciate
man.
it. Yeah, it was my pleasure.
Salute.
So, yeah.
We appreciate your service, man. Thank you for
absolutely.
Your service.
Thank you so much for your service. And
Thank
salute
you. I appreciate
again.
it.
Yes, yes. The crowds are saluting to you, welcoming you in as well.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this thing, most people say, like, why the heck is this dude even on the platform? Y'all talking about hip hop. First of all, let's be clear. Media Man is a huge hip hop fan, man. Yeah, of course, he's from Sacramento, but man, he's a lover of all hip hop, man. Tell us how you got into your love for hip hop, and also this is a Bebo P question. How did the music, man, maybe help you? What music did you listen to when you were in the military that kind of got you through adversities and that kind of stuff?
Man, so the first question, how did I get into loving music? I had a very musically inclined family. People used to sing in the choir. I have a couple family members that did some music with Tupac. My cousin, he was on the soundtrack to Game Related, Stanley Blackshire. He was a guy who was heavily into the music, and my sister, she was a music head, and she used to do a little bit of local rap. And just listening to all those old school records from like the Jodeci's and back in the day, MC Light, Queen Latifah, my cousins, and my sister really got me into the love of music. And that was actually the first time that I heard Do or Die Twister. That's when I really kind of fell in love with hip hop, because we thought those guys were from California because of the way they sounded. Because California, up and down the state, you got the pimp culture. So I grew up on like Sugar Free.
Come on, man.
Those guys.
Free.
So you wouldn't tell, but yes, man, Sugar Free somewhat raised me.
So the Sugar Free, man, DJ Quick, come on, man.
DJ Quick, all them brothers out there. So
gotta get that perm right. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get that perm right. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
There you go.
The second question you asked, the guys that influenced me the most, I mean, honestly, this may be a shot to a lot of people. I'm a huge Devin the Dude fan. And I've never smoked weed in my life. Never smoked weed in my life, but I've learned so much about women in particular from Devin. I've learned from Sugar Free, Twista. That's one of my favorite rappers of all time. And also Snoop, of course, being from California. But I think most of my influence come from, I would say, those guys, So being that I'm older, so
how did hip hop music influence you to push forward and through the ups and downs throughout your 20 years in the military?
Oh man, it's me being a gym guy, it's kind of a getaway. And when you're in the gym for like 2 to 3 hours, you got a lot of time to listen to music. Right. So that's when you start trying to branch out and listen to new things, different things. Different artists. I was heavily biased against New York rappers because I'm from California. So, I had a couple friends. They would reach out and they'd be like, "Hey man, nah, you missing out on this Jay-Z guy. You got to listen to Jay-Z." And I'm like, "Who is this, man? Nah, I don't want none of that." And so I would listen to it. I'm like, "Oh, okay." The Blueprint came out. I was like, "Oh my goodness." I was like, "This dude cold." So kind of reached out and started listening to those guys, and just like the stories that you get from them, and sometimes you can relate to them, especially with like family issues. I know Beanie Siegel, he has a song about his pops that I was like, man, I was like, this guy, it kind of hit home. I can't remember the name of it, but when I heard it, I was like, yeah, he's went through some stuff. I was like, this is something that I can gravitate towards. And then I found Lloyd Banks on his mixtape scene, and it's just described New York to a T before I even stepped foot in the city or in the state. And when I was listening to him, I was like, I gotta go. And when I went, I was like, this is just like Lloyd Banks described in his Cold Corner album. So,
to a T, huh?
To a T, good and bad.
Awesome. So you mentioned a bevy of artists that you love, starting out from the West and then eventually to the, Midwest, East, and so forth. Who's in Medium Man's Mount Rushmore? Or Westmore, whatever floats.
We're gonna put you on the hot seat, real. We're gonna start off on the hot
discussion. This started the discussion between my homeboy. He's from Chicago.
Okay.
And man, I was having a tough time with this one because as you get older, you kind of replace people,
Sure.
I had to do it. I mean, this may sound crazy, but I got to put Drake up there on one, and then I have to have Kendrick Lamar in there. He replaced Snoop. Because I was a huge Snoop fan.
Wow. Okay.
So I got to have Kendrick in there.
You gonna get some hate mail after the show.
All right.
And then for third, I got J. Cole in there. I love Cole, KOD. I actually have a laminated picture of his album, KOD, in my movie room because that was one of my favorite albums. And then also I went back and forth with this last one. It was either going to be Nas. Kanye or Twista, and I got to put Twista in there. I'm sorry.
Okay.
because
All
he had
right.
the most
Shot
influence
town?
on me when I was younger. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's my top four.
Okay.
Top 4 guys. Yeah. So
And out of those
Okay.
4, which one, if you were forced to pick, serve as Medium Man's absolute favorite of all those 4 individuals, legends that you mentioned?
I mean, I got to go with Kendrick. I got to go
Okay.
with Kendrick
Okay,
because
okay.
I started listening to him back in 2008, and you know, when Section 80, Overly Dedicated, those
Yeah.
mixtapes,
Okay. All right.
those are some of the albums that I'll never take off my playlist because I'm from
Gotcha.
California, and the way that he was describing things leading up to his more mainstream albums, I was like, that sound like me, you know, and
Yeah.
it just made so much sense. So I can always pull from Kendrick to get what I need in regards to whatever situation that I'm going through. So if I was stranded on the desert island, I would have to take a couple Kendrick albums with me.
Okay.
You know, so
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.